You are listening to the Anfield Humidor podcast. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, the guy sneering at me for some strange reason, the guy sitting next to me wearing a Red Sox hoodie, Andrew. Take it away, Andrew. Was it a good show?
I thought it was a great show. What's up, guys? You're listening to the Anfield Humidor podcast. We got a good episode planned for you today. The second episode that features that new segment, Real News versus Fake News. You get some cool Liverpool headlines that are current, and then some fake ones that are pretty laughable. I think you should check that out. We got some good poems written for you for poetry in the Dodge Ram. We got our top three and just some really good banter about that Napoli game.
We are the champions!
We got some really good banter about that Napoli game.
Oh, no, Reds!
That it was a tough loss, but we got our heads held high. We're headed towards Chelsea, and yeah.
There's nothing worse when you try to start a chant and your co-host doesn't respond. But yeah, guys, it was a great show. Remember, if you listen to this podcast, if you like it, please like and subscribe on the platform you listen to. And don't forget, our email is theanfieldhumidor@gmail.com. Any question you have, critique, praise, anything would help us out. So please send us an email and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
We're on. This is the Anfield Humidor. We just said that in the intro, but I'm saying it again. Why not? What are we drinking? Because this is...
It's good. It's the Hoboken Even Flow. I got it at that the Scotch store that you like. Up the road.
Yeah, bourbon, Scotch, and beer.
Yeah, it's a Citra Pale Ale. So it's just a pale ale brewed with obvious citrus notes.
Citrus. Hoboken.
It's good. Hoboken Brewery.
I love Hoboken.
It's good beer.
We have good times in Hoboken, right?
I think
That's
so.
about when you became a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Year and a half.
Ballpark. I like saying 2 years though. Can we round up?
Let's go, yeah. 2 years. You've been a Liverpool fan for 2 years.
Yeah.
And you are a co-host of a podcast
About Liverpool.
Cheers. Cheers. That's the best, though.
We got to make it fun after that loss.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. We got a good show for you today, despite our loss to Napoli. We're going to chat about that game in a second. All right. There are good things and bad things about that game, but we'll get into that in just a second. We got poetry today. We got top three, worst three, as usual. Okay?
Excited.
But we're going to start off with our real fake news, the new segment where...
Fake news.
Okay? The new segment. It's a new segment where one of us is reading real Liverpool news and one of us is reading fake Liverpool news. And it's up to you to decide. We are not going to tell you. It's up to you. And it looks like Andrew is starting us off.
Coming to you live. LFC supporters chant in the streets of Liverpool for hours after hearing of Virgil van Dijk's new contract extension. The new deal extends his contract to 2062, as Jurgen is confident that old age and an enlarging prostate won't affect his performance.
Okay, and Jordan Henderson accepted that there were areas for Liverpool to improve on as they were beaten 2-0 at Napoli, but expects the right reaction from his side. He said, quote, "We won some great balls in the midfield and counterattacked really well. But it was just that last little bit, and obviously the mistakes for the goals, that we need to improve on."
All first-team Liverpool players have scheduled a group vasectomy after realizing that the children are to blame for their group stage loss to Napoli today. Mo Salah said, quote, "They just take up too much of our time. We need to focus on football." All right.
Divock Origi is set for a short spell on the sidelines due to the ankle injury he sustained against Newcastle United at Anfield on Saturday. Jurgen said, quote, "The update on Div is that it is not too serious. We expect him to be out for between 1 and 2 weeks, but it depends on a little bit when he can deal with the pain." Now, for that last news update, you have to imagine Jurgen is saying it, and he would say it's something like...
But it depends a little bit. That's English.
That's English.
It depends. I can't do German
Can't
in my
do
head
it.
right now.
The update on Div is that is not too serious. We expect him to be out for between 1 and 2 weeks. This is an Italian Jurgen Klopp for some reason. But it depends a little bit on when he can deal with the pain. Guacamole.
He's not Italian at all.
I know. That's the Italian version of
I like
Jurgen.
this segment, though, because if I was going to read Liverpool news and there was something like this in there, like that Firmino article I sent you after that move against Newcastle, there was an article that got released on Twitter about how Firmino was arrested. It was just clickbait, like check it out. But it was all a joke about how like it was considered pornographic what he does with a ball, just complete majesty.
Do you remember the writer of that article's name? Tomkin something?
I don't know.
He's pretty popular, I believe.
Yeah, it was hysterical. It was really funny.
That was really cool. I love that. I read that. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So those are our news articles, and it's like I said before, it's up to you to decide what is real and what's fake. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to figure it out this time, right? You got that vasectomy.
Yep.
The group vasectomy.
Yep. I mean, Jurgen's still recovering from his burnt cheese sandwich.
Burnt cheese sandwich,
from last episode.
Yep, from last episode. All right, let's get right into our tease of our top 3, worst 3. Now, you made the comment before we started that we should just call this top 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've only done one worst 3.
But we might come up with more worst 3. We got millions of podcasts to do. So
Millions more to go. All right, I'll read you mine first.
Go for it.
All right, my top 3 for you is things that you would rather have, or things that you want in your earphones when you're driving, or on your car stereo when you're driving to work. So it could be songs or podcasts. I would like songs, but it can be a podcast too. Top 3 things you want playing on your car on your drive to work.
All right, so I can say like, the Joe Rogan podcast or something like that. Okay, so the top 3 things I want to be listening to while I'm
when
working.
You drive to work, or
when I'm driving to work. Okay, I like that. That's a good one. All right, my top 3 for you. Now, in this top 3, in this scenario, you're dead. Okay. Your wife can only marry a Liverpool player. Look at me. Your wife can only...
I was reading the top 3.
Your wife can only marry a Liverpool player. Which Liverpool player would you want to be the father of your children? So forget about the whole married to your wife thing. That's not what this question's about.
Okay.
This question's about someone's raising your children. It's another guy. What Liverpool player would you trust the most? And you're going to pick 3. You know.
Who I want to raise my kids.
Who you want to raise your kids.
Got it.
All right?
Got it.
All right, let's get right into this game, this 2-0 loss to Napoli. Like I said before, there were some good things about the game. There were some bad things about the game. Overall, I think Napoli had a great game. We did great things as well. But first, let's talk about Adrian's performance in that game and his performance overall. So, obviously, in that game, Adrian made that quite unbelievable save. That was in the first half, I believe.
I think the 48th minute.
I thought the 48th minute was the
double save? Oh, yeah.
But I forget, wherever it came. He made that unbelievable save. Was it Mertens that strike that ball?
Yeah.
Just to talk about that save for a second. That save was so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, if you put Alisson in that same position, he might not save it. It was an anticipation from Adrian that, he came, he saw Mertens was about to hit the ball. Adrian jumped before he touched the ball.
Yeah.
And that's like an anticipation. So he went running along his line and jumped in hopes that he was going to hit it in that direction and gets a hand to it. I mean, it was
this last minute hand.
It was such an unbelievable save. And just to talk about his performance overall, including this game, he was great this game. Awesome. And he wasn't just good in the saves, he was good. He's looking more like a Liverpool goalie. He's looking more like Alisson in the sense that his distribution, his footwork has been so much better. It's almost like he just flipped a switch. You know what I mean? When he started at Liverpool, he started under weird circumstances. All right, he was just purchased by Liverpool, and now he's the first team goalie, which is awesome for him. But he had a couple shady things happen in the first few games. He played some mistakes, right? But he's now the Liverpool defense are passing him the ball in tight situations, and he's dealing with it well. He's not just getting nervous and hitting the ball out. They're continuing to play out the back with him, and I think that's unbelievable. I mean, he's a changed man in my mind, and maybe I didn't give him enough credit because I was so hard on him in the beginning. You go back to the earlier podcasts, we've only done 7. So earlier by 3 or 4, whatever. And maybe I was a little too hard on him. So now he's kind of worked his way into this team. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, you said it. You said what I was going to say about the Liverpool players passing him the ball in tight spaces. Like before, when he started those first couple games, when we were like, get well soon, Allison, we miss you, because of your placement and your distribution and the way that you and Virgil van Dijk ran this defense. That those first couple games, it seemed like it was just Virgil. It was just Virgil, and then Adrian was just in case it got past Virgil. This now you kind of see Virgil kicking the ball back to him. You see Trent making a lot of moves to allow, like, I found myself watching that game. I was like, get it back to Adrian, get it back. Because I wanted to see, by that ball getting back, Trent and Robbo were able to move kind of up because they were so bad on, like, Liverpool's usually so counterattack heavy. They're always counterattack. Against, there we go again, against,
I hit it.
Yeah, well, you burped like 6 times last episode. In the middle of my Adrian.
But I hit it on that one, and you were the one who brought it up. So that's on you, son.
I had to.
Continue.
But no, you're right. Adrian, he's stepped up. He stepped up tremendously. His distribution was great. I think he was today's man of the match for sure. I think it was 2 defensive players that were up for man of the match. I think his performance was great. I know you just want to talk about Adrian's performance right now, but I thought he did great positionally. And not to mention, you mentioned that great save in the first half. He got a hand on that penalty kick. He anticipated that penalty kick incredibly well, and he was in the right position. Again, kind of going down. Like he threw himself before, but he got a hand on it. And that ball was kicked so hard that if it was kicked a little lighter, that might have botched it out. But he might have hit that ball out.
Yeah. I mean, that was another great save. His whole game was good. You had that little the first goal Napoli scored. All right. It was a mistake.
It was a penalty.
Okay, I'm sorry. The second goal. Yeah. My bad. The second goal they scored, where there's a lot of confusion. Virgil made a mistake.
Yeah.
Virgil made the mistake of giving the ball away in a bad position. Robbo then stutter-stepped and didn't make life easy for Adrian. So he's definitely not to blame at all for that goal. So again, like you said, could be he's your man of the match.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Between him and Fabinho.
Yeah.
I think Fabinho had a great match.
Yeah, he did. Fabinho did have a good match, but so Adrian had a great game, and I'm happy. At least we lost this game. We're likely going to get past the group stage. I mean, I don't want to say that prematurely.
Yeah.
But just seeing the other teams we're playing, all right, that was Napoli on their turf. That's a hard game to play. That's not easy. We lost it 2-0. That could have easily been the other way around. I think Napoli, they played us at our own game a little bit. They were doing long balls to their fullbacks, and it kept our fullbacks busy. We didn't see enough Trent, Robbo crosses because Napoli was really holding us back. We pressed hard. Napoli pressed hard. It was a very interesting game to watch in the beginning. I mean, it was back and forth.
I know. I found myself watching that game, and the first half I was watching Napoli's defense, and I was like, they're not going to be able to keep up this pace the whole game.
Right.
They're not going to be able to keep up this pace. There's no way. And then their coach made a couple subs second half. He subbed out like 4 people second half.
You can only do 3.
He subbed out 3 people second half.
He's only been a soccer fan for 2 years, people.
He subbed out 3 people second half,
yeah.
And it kind of like gave their defense fresh legs. I was like, they were so fast on the ball. They swarmed every single ball. They eliminated, like, we have, I believe, the 3 best strikers in soccer. I think they're when they're on. But Napoli's defense was on them so much. They eliminated opportunities. They kept blocking like Salah from Firmino. There was this every time Firmino had the ball, there were 3 defenders in between him and Salah. He couldn't break free. Yeah. So just their defense kept hammering. I was so surprised they didn't tire out. I was like, they're on us every time.
Yeah, they reminded me of Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's why I said they played us at our own game.
Yeah.
They looked like Liverpool looks. They surrounded players when they had the ball, but so did we. So it was this crazy, high-energy, intense, high-press game. Very fun to watch. It's really a shame we didn't come away with at least a draw. I mean, at the 60th minute of that game, before that, before we lost that penalty, they had the penalty kick against us. I was just about ready to take a draw, to be quite honest. I'm like, you know what? Napoli looks like they're the ones who are going to score. We had our chances. We didn't make them happen. We did things well. We counterattacked well. we even defended well. We were covering things just like Napoli was covering, but we couldn't get that. Nothing was happening in that final third. Nothing. That final ball was never there. A lot of loose passes in that final third. Mane didn't have. I mean, I guess I have to watch the game back again, but it seemed Mane didn't have the greatest of games. He lost the ball a lot. You think
there's still something going on between him and Salah?
Definitely not.
You don't think so?
But to that point, how about Mane's ball he gave Salah?
Yeah.
When it was a counterattack, right? It was a counterattack. Mane gave a poor pass to Salah, and that plays right into that. Right into that. He's like, you must think when he was running, what's going through his mind is, wow, I reamed Salah out for not giving him the ball. I have to give him the ball. When the previous Mane would have said, the ball is not there. That pass is not there. They close it down. Let me take this on myself.
Like brings politics into it. Like now there's
there's
team level politics.
I tell you what, and you've never played much soccer, but I have, and when someone yells at you on your team, it affects you.
Yeah.
It does. Next time you're in that same position, you think now, and maybe that's a good or a bad thing, but that's what separates the men from the boys. Is that like the men from the boys?
You said that's so sultry.
Is that like Salah and Mane and Firmino and these guys? They can take the reaming. They can take the ream and forget about it. But it seems like it did have an effect. Yeah. Sadly,
I kept seeing like when Salah or Firmino would like end up conceding a goal kick, like they did kick it out that side. You just see Mane there like standing like still like because he's open, and I know that I don't think that there's any drama going on between them, but you just wonder as a fan and as watching it if there is something that kind of is still resonant in there. Like
I said, I don't think so, but for sure, not at all, but totally.
But yes,
yeah, but obviously that's always going to be there. That's always going to be there. That you remembered that you just got reamed out by Mane, you always remember that. Mane remembered it. And it potentially showed. Potentially. So, all right, I got a question for you, Andrew. In that game, you watched that game. What do you think Liverpool could have done differently to change things? Like, what do you think was missing from the Liverpool side? Or maybe what did Napoli do to close us down? What do you think?
I mean, we talked on that a little bit in that discussion about Adrian and then moving on to the performance of the whole team. Napoli's defense really shut us down. They were, like I said, quick. They were high energy. They were always on the ball, which eliminated so many passes. I think we defended well. Henderson, and you read that quote, we played this game really well. The ball just wasn't there. Like Klopp said after the match.
That quote, hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That quote that he mentioned, just so people remember, Jordan Henderson accepted that there was areas for Liverpool to improve on as they were beaten 2-0 at Napoli, but expects the right reaction from his side. He said, quote, "We won some great balls in midfield and counterattacked really well. But it was just that last little bit, and obviously the mistakes for the goals that we need to improve on."
Yeah, I mean, Andy Robertson and that penalty, that's another area of discussion that we'll get to, but that's an obvious mistake.
All right, let's get into it. Let's get it, because that's our next topic here.
Okay. But again, it almost seemed like Napoli's defense was so good that it prevented, because we have a level of attack where our front strikers are always pressing. They're always pressing, which allows the defense kind of time to stay not rested, because they are back and forth, but they're not always on the attack. So it seemed like our defense kind of got winded as well. And that's not something you usually see. Virgil made an error. He made a mistake. And it's not all on Virgil. I saw all those tweets about, I saw it all over Twitter. Virgil van Dijk's error results in losing the opportunity for an equalizer. Like all that stuff. It's not on him. Robbo stutter stepped. It wasn't, they weren't open for him. He did miss that. He put the ball in a bad place because maybe they weren't in the best place. So I agree with Henderson. I think that they had some really good balls. And then I agree with Klopp after the game. If Mane was 2 steps up in the first half on maybe 3 of those routes, if he was just 2 steps up, I think it's a different game. You score that 1 goal, you kind of play a little more defensive.
Yeah, I think the game could have gone either way. They won 2-0, which is a shame, but it could have gone either way. And the major turning point of that game was VAR. Yep. Let's talk about VAR. I mean, everyone's going to be talking about it, but that's the topic of discussion here. That's
especially after that.
Yeah, especially after that. So let me tell you my take on this, okay? You have, from my opinion, a clear dive from Mertens. Was it Mertens? Yep. I forget who dove. You watch that video back from any angle, and it is 97% of the time you see him jump before he touches Robbo. Okay? That's a dive. So, all right, maybe one angle it looks a little different, but whatever. The referee was right next to him, and fine for the referee to call that a penalty. I'm completely fine with that. And let's say we had no VAR, right? That wasn't, let's say it was last year, and he called that a penalty. And we know from watching the replay it was a penalty. I would feel better about all that than I feel now about the fact that people took this back, looked at it, and then still called it a penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on? It's either you're going to have VAR full on or don't have it at all. I'd rather not have it at all, to be quite honest. Go ahead.
I just don't get the point of it. Like what's the purpose of making that the standard if you have 8 different angles showing you that it's not a penalty? You have coaches that think it's not a penalty. You have sports analysts and experts say it's not a penalty. And then VAR, if VAR did what VAR was supposed to do, they would rule that it's not a penalty. Why didn't that get ruled?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of rules with VAR, which there should be, but there's a rule it has to be a clear and obvious error from the referee.
Wasn't it? That's what we're talking about here.
I think so. I would say yes, but
I was reading I was scrolling through Instagram after you kind of read through the highlights, and I screenshotted what somebody wrote. I guess maybe shout him out. It's just another.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he follows us on Instagram.
Go ahead.
It's official Liverpool fans page. It's just a fan page, a couple thousand followers. But he wrote, in my opinion, VAR is an absolute joke. And for those of you who say who are going to say that I'm only saying this because it's gone against us this time, that's not true. And he goes on to say, if you ask me, I skipped a little bit. If you ask me, what the VAR officials should be doing is just reviewing all the decisions and making the correct ones instead of only looking for clear and obvious errors. Because at that moment, they're just using that as a term. They're just using that term as an excuse, so they don't want to overrule the referee.
Okay, perfect. So what he's saying is, the referee makes a decision. They review it. Forget about a clear and obvious error. No, you have however many people in the VAR room. You have to decide, is it a foul or is it not a foul? Forget about the clear and obvious error from the ref. Is it a foul or is it not a foul? And make it that. The ref shouldn't get upset about that. The ref is sitting there looking at it in real time. Things happen in real time.
I just don't get why is there a sense of not wanting, to not want to overrule the referee? Are we pedestalizing this referee?
I think so.
You're wrong, though. If you make a bad call, you make a bad call. That's what they do it in American football. Mm-hmm. They do it in baseball. They overturn umpires' decisions. They don't overturn strikes and balls and stuff. But
do you remember what we said during the Super Cup? That was when they had the woman referee.
Yeah.
Remember what we were saying about VAR, how maybe they let it go in her favor because she is the first woman referee, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Like I said, we both said she did a great job. But maybe that's so stupid. You're like you said, you're bringing politics into this.
Yeah, you're making it so that referee that made a bad call, mind you, referees make bad calls 100 times a game. It's not. But if you're going to use VAR as a standard to overturn a bad call and say that that's what it's for, but never do it, that's what I don't get. They're only using VAR to agree with the referees. Sometimes it seems like I've only seen it when referee was right. VAR, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's messed up. It's the first season with VAR. There are some kinks to be worked out.
Yeah.
At this point, I said it last season, I don't want it. No. I don't want VAR. I'm 100% okay with human error. I'm 100% okay with that. If you can implement a VAR system that works, I'm cool with that. I'm more cool with that. Because, hey, if it was offside and it wasn't called offside, it should be offside. I'm totally for that. As long as you let the run of play go and things like that.
Would you propose, instead of the VAR, additional officials?
At this point, for sure.
Goal line judges, what would you, how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Make it the ref standard and then eliminate all VAR?
Yeah, like I said, at this point, I would eliminate the VAR. They're not going to do that. This is the future. It's going to stick around.
Future sucks.
The future sucks. Yeah.
Future costs us
look at all of us staring at our phones all day long. The future sucks.
Future sucks.
It does.
Costs us a 2-0 loss.
All right, let's talk. I'm going to take my future right now and look into it. And I'm going to read a tweet. This tweet is by Alex Kunald. Wait, how do you say that name? Right there.
Cunald. That's what I'm going to say.
Alex Cunald, and he's replying to the Anfield Watch. I believe this is on Twitter. Excuse me. Had to get a burp out. This made me laugh. Okay. All right. The Anfield Watch is another big, Twitter thing. They said, what happened today, Reds? Something along those lines. And his comment was, Stevie Wonder manning the VAR.
Oh, man.
How funny is that? I saw that and laughed. So shout out to Alex Cunald for that sly little remark. Very funny. Very funny. So that was it was a darn shame.
Yeah.
That was a darn shame because when you make a big decision like that early in the game, obviously everybody knows it changes the whole. I think Liverpool responded well to it, but it doesn't matter. It changes everything. Changes everything. We almost scored beforehand. Before that, they almost scored. Both goalies made great saves. It was a pretty evenly matched in the end, I think.
Yeah, just the ball wasn't there.
Ball wasn't there. And, hey, that was our hardest match in the group stage.
So we lost last year.
Yeah, 1-0.
We lost last year.
1-0.
We lost 1-0. It was a last-minute goal.
Yeah, we lost 1-0. We won 1-0 at Anfield. Yeah. So, and looking at this group stage, again, anything can happen, but I think we're going to be okay. We really need to try to finish first, but, who knows? As long as we get through.
Yeah, let's just get through it.
as long as we get through, because remember what we said before? I want a 7
on the Champions card.
See that CH6 MP. Can you have CH7 there? I guess, right?
The 7 would be the I.
Yeah, there you
Champions
go.
League. Yeah.
There you go. I like it.
I mean, just to close the VAR thing, this is kind of cool. You don't know a lot about sports that aren't current sports that aren't soccer.
I don't.
I mean, you know a lot about golf, but nothing really.
Only a little bit about golf.
So the NFL, they made a league rule change because the way VAR has changed the sport.
Okay.
Last year there was a playoff game. It was the Saints against the Rams, and there was a call where the ball was thrown to a Saints player. It was obvious pass interference. He pushed him, like, you can't touch the receiver before they have contacted the ball. So he pushed him, like, when the ball was halfway through the air. Pushed him out. No call. The coach couldn't challenge it because there was no challengeable feat that says challenge the call of no, or challenge a no call of pass interference. They changed that rule this year, and now you can. So it's like, you don't want to see that happen in soccer. You don't want to see every season be played differently now because they're updating new rules for VAR. It's gonna Americanize it, and that's not good.
No, not at all. Americanizing something is typically not good.
No,
I'm pro-capitalist, baby, but what it does for certain culture is not good.
keep it out of the real football.
European soccer is the best. Comes from a socialist society. Don't know if those two come into play. Good soccer, socialism. I don't really know. I am not qualified to answer that. I think before we continue, we need to empty our bladders.
We're gonna pause it.
We're gonna pause it.
All right, let's pause it
because I gotta pee. I want to enjoy the next.
That's fine. I'm good though. For the first time, I'm good.
Andrew, I want to enjoy the next 4 hours of this podcast.
4 hours.
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
hold on.
Be right back. And we're back.
We are back, son. We are back. Our bladders are empty. We're comfortable.
I was fine before.
Yeah, but you know me. I'm tiny.
You got a small bladder.
I'm 130 pounds, 5'4", small bladder. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it goes. All right, so that was a good talk about that game. Now, we are going to move on to the famous segment, the part we love the most. The reason we do this. Poems. We write poems about Liverpool. They're always typically about Liverpool. Not all the time.
I wrote one about you last week, and it's just about how you suck.
Yep. He wrote one about me, about how I suck. He secretly loves me. He secretly loves me. He loves me! Okay. We're going to do this poem now. All right. I have one. Do you have one today or two? You got one.
I have one. Sorry, I was sipping my beer for.
Are you happy? Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers. Are you happy with yours?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think it's better than last week's poems?
I don't know. I liked my haikus.
Yeah, your haikus were good.
They were good.
What do you have for us this week?
Limerick.
Limerick. Okay. All right, let me go first.
Okay.
I have no specific style of poetry. This is just a poem I wrote. All right?
Take it away.
It's about your son.
Oh, boy.
It's about your son. It's only good. It's only good.
Get down. Get down low. It's time to read the poem.
Okay, and don't look at the computer screen. Okay, look at me. All right. Keep
Poetry in Dodge Ram, tra-la-la-la-la. Poetry in Dodge Ram, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Poetry in the Dodge Ram, tra-la-la-la-la. We're the two best friends in the garage.
Yes, we are. Pound it.
Sorry, I wanted to interrupt you.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I just
waited until you started.
Oh my goodness.
Take it away.
All right, don't look at the computer while. Okay. Here's my poem. Keep practicing, Colton. Maybe one day you'll be a red. The cop will write chants about you. Maybe about the red on your head. Keep practicing, Colton. Your degenerate father will be home soon to put you to bed.
That's so mean. And you spelled his name wrong. It's Colton with an A.
Is it?
Yeah.
Colton with an E.
So you're such a jerk that you spelled my son's name wrong and called his father a degenerate.
Yeah.
That was a good poem, though.
Thank you.
You want to read it again?
If you want me to.
I don't want you to. Go ahead, read it again.
If you don't want me to, I'm doing it.
Read it again.
Keep practicing, Colton. Maybe one day you'll be a red. The cop will write chants about you. Maybe about the red on your head. Keep practicing, Colton. Your degenerate father will be home soon to put you to bed.
That's like multi-leveled because you know that I'm never home because I'm so busy at work. And you call me a degenerate and you make fun of my son because he's a redhead.
Yep.
You're the worst person.
Yep.
All right. Mine is a limerick.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let me take you back to 2018 when Liverpool lost to Napoli. After we couldn't be beaten, so my worries are fleeting. The Reds march towards 2020.
Do it again, please.
Yeah, you got it.
Do it again, please.
Let me take you back to 2018 when Liverpool lost to Napoli. After we couldn't be beaten, so my worries are fleeting. The Reds march towards 2020.
I don't quite understand it.
You don't understand my poem?
No, I don't.
So last year...
I understand that. Okay. I don't understand the rhyming scheme.
It's a limerick.
I know, but go ahead.
A-A-B-B.
But do it one more time.
18, Napoli, beaten, fleetin', 20.
Do it again?
I'm not going to do it again. All our listeners are smarter than you. They got...
I don't quite get it. Didn't quite register. Do the whole thing one more time.
Got it. Ready?
One more time. I got you.
Hendo's pubes are fair.
Do you have that memorized?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready? Let's do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hendo's pubes are fair.
Salah has pubes to spare. You don't even know your
I don't know
poem.
it. Trent's pubes are squirrely. Curly. Mane's pubes are squirrely.
No.
I bet Van Dyke has a bun down there.
I was so broken.
Oh, that was terrible.
Well, that concludes Poetry in Motion.
Yes. That poetry is done. Forever. No, just kidding. We're going to keep doing it because it's the best. All right, let's go right into our top 3, worst 3. This is where we give each other the top 3, worst 3 scenario, and we have to blah, 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 blah. You all know what it's all about. All right. My top 3. You first, me first. Who did their poem first? I did.
First. So you want me to do my top 3 first?
I want you to go first.
All right, so I'm dead.
All right, so just to recap, in this scenario, you're dead. Your wife can only marry a player from Liverpool. And you have to think of who do you want raising your children? Which Liverpool player?
Got it.
You got to give me 3.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Number 3, Jordan Henderson.
Okay.
I've listened to a ton of his post-match interviews. He always speaks very highly of the team. He always is humble. I feel like he'd be a good father. I don't really know a lot about his home life. he might be.
You don't need to know.
He might be divorced.
You don't need to know about his home life.
I'm not sure. But I want him to be the father of my child. He's incredibly attractive, so hopefully he winds up looking like him. I don't know if that's how that works.
Would you agree with me in saying that he's the most attractive person on Liverpool?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, can you say no homo anymore?
Yeah.
No homo.
You can say whatever you want. This is our podcast. No one can shut us down.
No homo.
No homo.
All right.
We have no sponsors, so what do we care?
So Jordan Henderson sitting at number 3.
Okay.
Number 2, Mohamed Salah.
Oh.
Mohamed Salah. Because I feel like through Mohamed Salah's dedication, there's no way my kid wouldn't be a successful starting forward.
He'd be a successful starting forward and bowing to Allah.
Yeah, that's okay though. Because I'm gone. So as long as he's successful, that's
okay. I got you.
Just kidding about the Allah thing, though.
I know. Go ahead.
And then number 1 is Alison Becker.
Really? Okay, explain, please.
So Alison Becker, after they won the Champions League, I watched a little bit, a couple interviews with him.
Yep.
And they would show videos of him and his kids and his wife at home. He just threw that. And he's a really good dad. He was on the floor unwrapping Christmas presents with his 1-year-old. Looks like a good father. Mind you, he might be a serial killer. We don't know anything about these guys. But
I think Allison can go either way. He's either a great father and a great husband, or he, has 17 kids in his basement that are dead. He can go either way.
I would go. I think he leans the first one.
I think so.
I don't think it's the latter.
But
yeah, top 3.
But you never know.
Top 3. That's my top 3.
Okay, I like it.
Your turn.
I like it. You always throw me for a loop with your top 3.
Why?
Which is great.
Yeah, well, I figure one should be about Liverpool. So when we start the podcast, I always ask you, is yours about Liverpool? And then you'll say yes, so I'll make mine not about Liverpool.
I'm not saying that. I mean, the top 3 I gave you, you always do it. You always say 3 unexpected people for me.
Who do you think?
I knew you were going to say Henderson,
yep.
But Mo and Allison, I don't know.
Who did you think I was going to say instead of Mo?
I don't know.
Give me one.
I'd go Henderson would be my number one.
Okay.
And then I'd probably do Milner and Mo.
Milner would beat my kid up for having red hair.
But Milner has he's got a soft side.
And then Mo would be my number 3? Or your number 3?
Probably, yeah.
Just because you want your kids to be good at a sport.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mo has that dedication in him.
Nah, Mo's got that, he's got that family value. And he's smiling all the time. I don't know. Remember when his daughter went out in the field at the last game of the season?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Something about that.
That's why I had to put him there.
I know. The way he was smiling for that, I don't know. He's a good father. All right, so what was your top 3 again for me?
Top 3 songs or podcasts that you want in your earphones when you're working or driving to work.
Okay. My number 3, the Todd Barry podcast. I have to say it because it's one of my favorites. It's Todd Barry, who is a comedian, an American comedian, lives in New York City, very low energy, soft kind of guy. And his podcast is about nonsense. They talk about, the one main thing they talk about in that podcast is airline points. And he always has a comedian on his podcast, which I love. I like, I don't know, I like podcasts that are very above the surface. I love the Joe Rogan podcast, but that gets very deep. I like to laugh.
Yeah.
I like to laugh. I like to just zone out. And the Todd Barry podcast is one of the main zone out. Just having a good laugh, talking with someone. I love it.
It's like the Office of podcasts.
It is, yeah. It's just they talk about whatever they want, or the Seinfeld of podcasts, But yeah, that's my number 3. My number 2 would have to be, now I love music. I love it. Like you've stated, I've played guitar my whole life. I've been a fairly, I don't know. I like classical, jazz, loved all the quote-unquote musician stuff. Love that stuff. Excuse me. But then, lately, I'm 31 years old, okay? I want to stay current in the music scene, all right? And I wrote off rap most of my life, and that was wrong. You can't write something off you know nothing of. You just hear, I love Radiohead. If you listen to 2 seconds of Radiohead, or let's say you just were given a quick 20-second tour of Radiohead, you would never listen to them again. Never. You'd say that's garbage. I know it's not garbage. I know Radiohead's awesome. So I kind of did that with rap, right?
Okay.
And was I wrong? Because rap is a legitimate music. It's a legitimate genre, okay? There's crap rap, there's good rap. Just like any other music. So my number 2, to make a long story short, is my favorite thing to listen to on the way to work in the car is the playlist. That's a staple. Is the playlist that you and I created of rap or hip hop artists.
Okay.
All right. And sadly, my favorite song is by 6ix9ine, and it's called Billy. And I feel ashamed to say that, but I shouldn't, because rap is, that's a good song. But don't listen to that song, because there's a lot of cursing, there's a lot of bad words in that song. But that, man,
That's number 2.
That's number 2. You put that song on the way to work. Oh my goodness, you are productive.
I didn't know that was going to be on your list.
You are productive after that, man. What did you expect on my music list?
I don't know. Not 6ix9ine.
It's not just that song. It's that whole playlist. And that whole kind of genre, like Lil Nas.
Yeah.
Lil
Nas X.
Lil Nas X. He's got a song called "Kick It," which probably is not a popular song of his, and it's genius. That song is genius. Okay. Number 1, I've never heard a song like it. Never. It's rap. It's R&B. It's jazz. It's got tons of things going on, and then the chorus is talking about weed, and it's like I don't know. It's like stupid and genius at the same time, and something about that song is awesome. And I don't know.
All right, I gotta spend more time building that playlist up for you.
Yeah, that's a good playlist.
Yeah.
I'm into all types of music now, like country. Hate country, but now knowing what has happened with other things in my life, oysters, rap, all this other stuff. You know what I mean? I know there's good country out there. I know it.
Yeah.
I don't like. I'm the typical guy who doesn't like country. Oh, they're always talking about their trucks. Red Solo Cup, all that.
We lost all listeners at this point. His tangent about 6ix9ine and Toby Keith.
I'm sorry. All right, let me get to my number 1.
What's your number 1?
My number 1. What am I talking about again? All right. My number 1 thing to listen to on the way to work. Can you guess it?
I'm going to say this podcast.
Wow, that's hilarious, because I never figured that. But probably over the last 3 weeks, it has been this podcast, because we're trying to perfect it. So I'm really, really digging in deep. I listen to each one of these about 4 times, legitimately, to try to figure out where we can improve and things like that.
But it's not that.
It's not that, no. My number 1 overall over the last few years, Bill Burr podcast.
Oh, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. I mean, it's one guy talking in his bedroom, office, whatever he is. One guy. And he somehow makes it interesting and funny. And that's my number 1, is laughing. Funny. I listen to that while I'm working. I'll be inside. I'm a painter. I do putting greens for a living. I'll be inside of a supermarket painting by myself. There's customers around. There's employees around. All this type of stuff, and I'll be cracking up in a stairwell because I'm listening to the Bill Burr podcast.
Just laughing by yourself.
Yeah,
farting in the bathtub.
So that's my number 1. That's my number 1.
Love it.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, I'm sure if I thought about it longer, I can come up with more, but.
I think the things
that was it.
When you think off the cuff, though, it's like the first things that come to your head.
Yeah, that was honestly, and at least that's right now. Things change.
Billy by 6ix9ine.
Billy by 6ix9ine. What do you think about that song?
I love it. I love that song.
You love it? Do you think it's a good song, or do you think it's just?
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good. It's one of those pump up songs.
It's a pump up.
Yeah. I don't think "Stronger" by Kanye West is a good song, but it's a good pump up song.
What am I drinking right now?
Oh boy.
My beer's gone.
Break open the Talisker?
Let's go Talisker, yeah, because you loved Lefroy so much.
No, that stuff's gross.
Just a little pour.
Little pour, got you.
Little pour.
So, no, I think it's a good song. I think I've turned you on to great rap music.
You have.
Which is why, I don't think Billy by 6ix9ine is a great rap song.
Yeah.
But it's an entertaining song.
Yeah.
But, your XXX Tentacion.
Yeah.
Your, your Lil Nas X. He's good. He's really good. And then you have just other rappers that actually, like Jaden Smith is one of those ones that like something about his producers. Yeah. He's different. So if you can find appreciation in rap music, then you're coming along.
How many people write Jaden Smith off?
100.
Because of his name and who his father is. You know? Cheers. And cheers, man. And he's really good.
Yeah.
You know? His music is really good, I must say.
His producers are great, and they help him come up with a lot of really good instrumentals. And yeah, Talisker is amazing after an IPA.
Oh,
isn't it good? Isn't Talisker change? It changes. It's so good after an IPA.
That's why I love whiskey so much, because whiskey is like, man, you could have that Talisker. Let's say we're at a cigar bar. We have Talisker. It tastes one way. We have it the other podcast. It tastes another way. We have it now after an IPA. It tastes. I mean, that's whiskey, man. It's complex, baby. All right, we got anything else to talk about? Let's see. We did our top 3 worst 3. We did our poems. These are my notes from the game. I think that's it. We're 44 minutes.
I think we're good.
I think we're good, dude. We're not going to leave the garage yet.
No, we hang out and we finish the Talisker.
We're going to finish the Talisker we just poured. But yeah, that was our episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you like this show, please send us an email. Our email is theanfieldhumidor@gmail.com. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Ask us questions. We'd love to do a Q&A. We'd love to do all types of different things, but we don't know who our listeners are.
Yeah.
They're all over the place right now. All right, you got anything else to say to the fans? Nothing.
No,
he's got
nothing. I'm good.
He's got nothing.
I'm good on this.
He's tongue-tied. I don't want to end it. This is too much fun. Are we going to do this every time?
All right, guys. See you later.
Something that the cop wants you to know. Best in the world is Bobby Firmino. Our number 9. Give him the ball and he'll score every time.